Liverpool have bounced back with a 5-1 win in the Champions League, but is it time to say that the quote-unquote crisis is finally over? And what can we take away from this match? Because this is the type of match where Arne Slot had to get this right. We know earlier in the week they had this emergency meeting, so he needed to get a reaction from his players, and boy did he. They win 5-1, and I know that we could talk about Frankfurt and just say that this is certainly not one of the best sides in Europe. They're seventh in the Bundesliga. They've had an up and down season, but it's still playing on the road in the Champions League. So you still got to give Liverpool and Arne Slot some credit here. But what are the takeaways from this match? And definitely, it's Ekitike has to continue to play. He's certainly the best player on this team. He's the one in form. And if you saw in that first goal, some people are comparing him to Thierry Henry. He just looks really good, composed, taking that ball and then just being able to score that goal. And it was at home in Frankfurt, definitely a feel that he's used to. But Ekitike has to continue to play. Slot has to get him in this lineup. But on the other side of things, though, this team is starting to look a lot better. And some are wondering, is that because Salah isn't playing? And Salah did come off. He did come off the bench in the second half. But is this team actually better or worse without Salah? That's certainly a lot of questions I've been seeing coming up. And so, look, I think a lot of that comes down to a lot of fans weren't happy when Salah came on. He definitely didn't. The team bounced back, but Salah certainly didn't. And there was a key moment towards the end of the match where he could have passed the ball to Florian Wirtz, but instead took a shot and it was just off. And a lot of fans are fuming because they're like, "Look, you gotta get. You're in the right. You're close to the goal. You got a man that's open. Go for the assist," and he doesn't. And then some are saying, "Well, look, if you're Mo Salah, you're trying to get your confidence back, so you got to take the shot there, right?" So this is pretty. Look, it's tough here for Salah because I've been certainly harping on Salah, they got to get him back in form. He's got to be at his best for this team to continue to fight for the Premier League. And then they're winning a match without him. And when he came on in the bench, he didn't really have much of an impact. So the question continues, and this is going to probably continue on until the weekend, which is, should Salah be starting matches? And has he, or should he be on the bench? Is Liverpool's best lineup? Does it include Salah? And we're already a couple of games. It's already almost the end of October, and we've already kind of seen that Salah still hasn't quite gotten to his best form, but Liverpool are finally winning matches despite that. So I think that there needs to be a sort of a little bit of a patience still with Salah, because I just can't imagine that he's going to go from being the one of the best, if not the best player in the Premier League last season, and then just the cliff, he just falls off the cliff, and it's just, he goes from that to like just being a regular winger. I'm not quite ready there to say that yet, but I will say that Liverpool were pretty impressive without Salah. When Chiesa did come on, he was certainly explosive and pressing a lot, and you don't really see that from Salah. And right now, fans are kind of saying like, look, if Salah's not going to offer a lot on defense and he's not going to score goals, then why is he playing? And it's definitely, as the season continues and Liverpool continue to gel, we'll have to see what happens and how Arne Slot handles the situation, because Salah is still, even though he hasn't been informed, this is still a player that you have to put on the same level as like Mbappe and Vinny Jr., not quite Messi and Cristiano, but still at a high level where he could still impact games. So you can't just completely have him out of this lineup. Like, if I'm Slot, I want to find a way to get Salah back in form, but I also want to win matches. So Salah and Arne Slot, they definitely got to figure this out, because they have to get him going. But what can we say about the other players? So Isak did play. He did pick up a groin injury, so look, he's a little bit unlucky in that sense. Definitely when he was on, he looked okay, but part of the problem is that he didn't have that off season, and now he's picked up an injury, and it's just, for a player that Liverpool paid that much, the start of his Liverpool campaign hasn't gone well. And Alan Pardew early in the week was comparing him to Fernando Torres, and I do kind of see the similarities in that this is a player that had a high price tag that everybody expected would join a club and then be up and running, and it quite hasn't gone the way that it should have. So hopefully Isak gets better and does come back and we start seeing the Newcastle version. But on the other hand, Florian Wirtz looked pretty good in this match. He did pick up 2 assists, and this is exactly what we've been wanting to see. Florian Wirtz is being able to produce these results. And I think that if you look at his game, and I heard other people say this, but that he's very comparable to like Phil Foden. He's just a really good all around player, and that's kind of why he's been sort of shoehorned into this team, playing in these different positions, because he's very well rounded. So Arne Slot can find spots for him to play. So overall, this was a pretty good result from Liverpool, just being able to get the result on the road after losing all those matches. But where do they go from here? The real test is going to be playing Brentford on the road. We've seen Liverpool; they have struggled in the Premier League. They've lost 3 straight now. So they've proven that they could turn things around in the Champions League, playing on the road against a team like Frankfurt. But can they do that against a team like Brentford, where it's certainly going to be a lot different? Brentford is gonna they're going to put a lot of pressure on Liverpool, and it's going to be a tough match, and Liverpool are going to have to break this team down. And can they actually do that? So that's really where the real test is. But my biggest takeaway from this match is things are starting to look good for Liverpool. Arne Slot has gotten this team back to winning again, and now they just need to continue to win more matches. So we'll have to see how they react in the Premier League. Let me know your thoughts about this match. Did you think that Mo Salah should have been benched? Should he have started? And let me know what you think about the upcoming match against Brentford. Post your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.